An enormous amount of food is lost at the immediate post-harvest stage of the cold storage supply chain in sub-Saharan Africa. Two-thirds of all food that is produced in sub-Saharan Africa is not consumed by any human. It sits on rural farms, rots, and emits CO2 into the atmosphere. Food loss is a major source of suffering for citizens in Africa, but it is also a catalyst for global climate change. The impacts are so severe that they contribute to the chronic malnourishment of 285 million citizens. Moreover, the FAO estimates that global food wastage contributes to roughly 10% of all annual greenhouse gas emissions. My name is Martin, and this is Ryan, and we're both sustainable management grad students in Chicago.
We are the founders of Fruze, an innovative smartphone application committed to reducing hunger in sub-Saharan Africa.
The Fruze smartphone application opens doors for the key stakeholders at the post-harvest stages by connecting them through a sharing economy that is more transparent and more efficient. The moment a farmer harvests their produce, they can send a text message or use the Fruze smartphone applications to alert local truck drivers or logistics companies of the fresh produce. The next step is for logistics providers to pick up the fresh produce and deliver it to retailers, markets, or existing cold storage facilities. This way, our application will increase the amount of nutritious food available for consumption and decrease CO2 emissions by reducing food loss. Our backgrounds in business and sustainability gave us the tools to identify the post-harvest stages as having the most potential to address the problems of CO2 emissions and food insecurity and hunger in Africa.
We recognize that the stakeholders in the supply chain are unbearably disconnected. But on top of this, many farmers live in rural areas lacking access to local markets and resources. In sub-Saharan Africa, 44% of citizens already use smartphone technology, and this is projected to grow to 55% by 2025. But an even better measurement of our future success is the fact that a smartphone application already exists in Kenya. It is used only by dairy farmers, helps to reduce fraudulent activity, and has increased farmer incomes by up to 15%. Fruze, however, is designed to fulfill the needs of produce farmers who deal in fruits and vegetables and who don't have access to cold storage facilities. We have identified ProFresh Export, a major exporter in Kenya, as a possible partner. But at the point of intervention, we will also partner with farmers and provide them our service for free while charging a small subscription fee to retailers and intermediaries. The future revenue streams of Fruze will be these subscription fees as well as in-application advertisements. We also intend to partner with local non-governmental organizations like Feed the Children and Food for the Hungry to understand the challenges of reaching those farmers who are most vulnerable. Improved efficiency throughout the cold storage supply chain will result in a reduction of CO2 emissions equivalent to Nigeria's annual total CO2 emissions. But as data becomes available, when more users subscribe to Fruze and become familiar with our service, we will use artificial intelligence to guide best practices throughout the logistics industry and the farming industry to increase overall food production. We knew we had to provide an effective incentive for retailers and intermediaries in order to get a large base of users at our launch. A subscription to Fruze will increase the amount of food available to be sold by connecting existing networks and having more transparency throughout the supply chain. This will undoubtedly increase both farmer revenue and retailer revenue as additional produce is picked up and available to be sold to the local market. The mission of Fruze is grounded in the belief that everyone deserves the right to an adequate standard of living. So as you might imagine, we are incredibly frustrated with the rates at which food is lost throughout the supply chain. Our solution will work toward building a more sustainable and robust cold storage supply chain by providing a tool for stakeholders to become better connected, more efficient, and more aware of potential food loss before it occurs.